The morning always began before sunrise. Not because she had to, but because she remembered what hunger sounded like. The silence of an empty kitchen. The echo of fear and unpaid bills. She would stand at the small sink, hands resting on chipped porcelain, wearing the same faded sweater she had owned for years. Anyone watching would think she had nothing. No wealth, no power, no story worth telling. But behind that quiet life, behind the peeling paint and secondhand furniture, lived a woman who had built an empire from pain. $1 million business born from nights of crying alone. From days where survival felt like rebellion. She had raised 2 children by herself. No husband. No safety net. Only her will. She never told them. Not because she was ashamed, but because she was afraid. Afraid that money would teach them the wrong language. That comfort would blind them to kindness. So she cleaned offices at night in their minds. Worked small jobs in their stories. Lived small on purpose. They grew up believing struggle was normal. That dignity mattered more than image. She cooked simple meals. Walked instead of driving. Wore clothes until they faded into memory. And when the business grew, when contracts stacked into millions, she hid it like a scar. Her children became adults. Successful in their own ways. Educated, confident. But something in her heart remained restless. A quiet question that never left her chest. Would they still love me if I failed? The invitation came on a Sunday afternoon. Her son asked her to dinner. His wife would be there. Her parents too. A proper family evening. He sounded proud, excited, and she felt the old fear rise. She said yes, then sat alone on her bed that night, holding the invitation like a test. She decided then, not out of cruelty, but out of love, to walk in as the woman they believed she was. No designer clothes, no jewelry, no polished confidence. She chose her oldest coat, the one with a loose button. Simple shoes, no makeup. She looked in the mirror and saw her past staring back. When she arrived, the house was large, clean, filled with expensive furniture and loud laughter. She stepped inside quietly, and suddenly she was invisible. Introductions were brief. Eyes moved past her. Conversations did not slow. She sat at the table, hands folded, listening. They spoke about vacations, investments, connections. They asked her what she did, and she answered honestly, in the version of truth they had accepted. She said she cleaned, that she lived simply, that life had been hard. The air shifted. The smiles tightened. The warmth cooled. She was offered water but no curiosity. Kindness without respect. Her son's eyes flickered with discomfort. Not anger. Not defense. Just embarrassment. That hurt more than insults ever could. Dinner continued. She watched how failure was treated. How struggle was tolerated only from a distance. She listened to jokes about people who never made it. People who did not try hard enough. And she sat there. The woman who had fought the world alone. The woman who had built everything from nothing. Reduced to a lesson in what not to become. She wanted to cry. But she stayed. Dessert came. The conversation turned sharper. One comment landed like a blade. About people who clean for a living. About how some lives never rise. She stood slowly. Her voice calm. Not loud, but steady. She said, I taught my children that worth is not measured by income. That strength is quiet. That kindness is everything. She looked at her son and asked softly, do you still believe that? Silence fell. Then she spoke the truth. Not with anger, but with sadness. She told them she owned a company. That she had hidden it for years. That every luxury they admired at the table came from someone like her. She said she had lived simply. To raise hearts, not egos. To see who they would become. The room changed. Faces drained. Voices disappeared. Her son stood, tears breaking through pride. He said he never meant to look away. That he had forgotten. She hugged him. Not to forgive, but to remind. That night, she left quietly. Back to her small home. The one she chose. Not because she was poor, but because she was brave. And she knew That money could build businesses. But only truth could build hearts.